Happy Friday. Hashtag Fun Friday. Today's Red Mike message: Monkey Underpants expired links. What do I mean by that? Well, if you've ever wondered what ADHD feels like from the inside, I'm going to start with a pop culture assist. There's a scene from Gilmore Girls, and no, I didn't watch it. I caught this clip a million times elsewhere, YouTube, whatnot. Lauren Graham, who's playing Lorelai Gilmore, her brain goes kind of foobar. One thought just blends into another one. Random nouns, movie, history, verbal pinball machine. And this is, forgive the acting, but this is what she says. My brain is a wild jungle full of scary gibberish. I'm writing a letter. I can't write a letter. Why can't I write a letter? I'm wearing a green dress. I wish I was wearing my blue dress. My blue dress is at the cleaners. The Germans wore gray. You wore blue. Casablanca is such a good movie. Casablanca, the White House, Bush. Why don't I drive a hybrid car? I really should drive a hybrid car. Bicycle, unicycle, unitard, hockey puck, rattlesnake, monkey, monkey, underpants. Now, people laugh because that's funny, but people with ADHD laugh because it's accurate. But first, Red Mike messages are leadership and life lessons picked up from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. And to go on to the whole ADHD thing, here's my version. And if I've repeated this story, I apologize. But several years back, I was driving into a parking garage and it was overcast. So the automatic light was flickering on and off, which here's the exact train of thought that happened instantaneously. Wow, that flickering light in this parking garage reminds me of Highlander. Wow, the Kurgan in Highlander, he was terrifying. Oh, remember when he was in the church and he said, better to burn out than fade away? Well, that of course is a Def Leppard lyric. Man, Def Leppard, that song started with Rock of Ages, and wow, they had a lot of really good songs and a lot of hits. Oh, one of those hits was Let's Get Rocked. Man, what was that funny line? Oh yeah, I suppose a rock is out of the question. Now, in my ADHD ping pong ball brain, all of that was totally reasonable, perfectly logical, absolutely useless. So, what did I do? I made a Facebook post about it. And I pointed out in that Facebook post that everybody needs to think good things about my bride because she puts up with this every day. And thank goodness she's not left me. Now, here's the part that really confuses people. I might not remember something you told me 5 minutes ago, but I can still hear the opening narration of the $6 million man in my head. We can rebuild him. We have the technology. I can still see the animated intro to Thundar the Barbarian, a cartoon that I have not seen in decades. The year 1994. From out of space comes a runaway planet, hurtling between the Earth and the Moon, unleashing cosmic destruction. Man's civilization is cast in ruin. 2,000 years later, Earth is reborn. But one man bursts his bonds to fight for justice. He pits his strength, his courage, and his fabulous sun sword against the forces of evil. He is Thundar, the barbarian. Now, of course, I left out some stuff, left out the part about Ukla the Mock and Ariel, but you get the drift. I remember Buck Rogers in the 25th century. The year was 1987. I remember what every letter in Shazam stands for. Do you? Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, Mercury. Ask me what was said in a meeting if I didn't write it down. No idea. That's why note taking for me in college was so important. I would write down everything that I could write down when the professor was saying it. Particularly those professors that, well, they didn't teach from the book. Basically, it was their notes or nothing. They still made you buy the $90 book, but you never cracked it. I mean, I kid you not, one year I purposely left the plastic on it and never took it off because I never needed the book. And then what I would do then is after taking the notes, I would take my notes home, and that same day I would rewrite them. And then I ended up rewriting them 3 or 4 times, and that's how I studied. But so if I don't write it down, chances are I'm not going to remember it, particularly short-term stuff. That's why my calendar is so important. But ask me about a Saturday morning cartoon TV intro from 40 years ago, crystal clear in surround sound in my brain. Yesterday, I opened my inbox and realized that there were hundreds of emails in there. Well, I go back and there's at least 40 entries of different job listings that I liked well enough to write down and put in my inbox, but I didn't like them enough to actually apply for them. Now, am I still applying for a lot of jobs? Yeah. Although I am starting a new temp job today. Well, it's a temp to hire, but more about that later. 40 emails, at least, job listings, all of them were expired. So I just, erase, erase, erase. I didn't get rejected. They were expired. They were closed. So at some point, my brain went, this is important. I'll get back to that. And then it went, ooh, shiny. And I moved to the next thing. So again, erase, 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 delete, delete, delete. And here's the thing that's really kind of funny. None of this is chaos to me. The guy living inside the ping pong ball brain. It's fast, it's associative, it's creative, it's exhausting. But oddly enough, most ADHD people are both highly competent and high functioning. Some people think in straight lines, some people think in spider webs, and oddly enough, both matter. Just focus better is not advice, it's a misunderstanding about how our brain works. The same brain that forgets deadlines is often the one that remembers patterns, stories, and connections for decades. Just ask my wife. Ask her how often I will tell her that a song that I've never heard before has a chord or a lyric or a rhythm that's just like one from the Guess Who or Johnny Lee, or reminds me of a scene in an old movie that no one's ever heard of. So have some grace for yourself and for others, because it's not optional leadership equipment. And if you love somebody whose brain occasionally ends up at Monkey Monkey Underpants, congratulations. You're married to institutional memory with terrible indexing. And that is today's Red Mike message and today's hashtag Fun Friday Red Mike message. I hope you found it interesting or helpful. I hope you will give me a like, a follow, and a share. Have a good weekend. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. And until next time, don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon.